Yeah, they call me Johnny Rock. You know, I come from well, I can't say a small town because Tampa's a pretty big town. I'd go to my dad's like once a week. Then I stopped going to my dad's. He was always at the bar getting drunk, getting high. So I'd go to the bar to visit my dad, you know. And honestly, for the rest of my life, that's where I went. If I wanted to see my dad, he was in the same seat at the same bar with his Budweiser or Pabst Blue Ribbon, whatever he was into at that time. You know.
Yeah, so you basically grew up in the bars.
Oh yeah, I grew up right in the bar playing. My dad would take me when I was a little tot. I learned how to play pool in the bar. You know, I knew who was dealing in the bar when I was a kid. I was like, my dad's friend's a drug dealer. And I was in school with that guy's kid, and we would take stashes out of his trash can. Had this big huge trash can full of marijuana. We'd take sacks and sacks and go on a rampage, get high, get some quarts of 8 ball, and just cruise
And
around.
then and that was you as a teenager?
That was me as a teenager. Yeah, I was introduced to the biker gangs. I was pretty young. I was hanging out with a bunch of tattoo artists. Sometimes a tattoo artist hang out with these biker crews, and sometimes you get the ones that don't. But the ones I was hanging out with, are the ones your mom and dad are like, "Hey, stay away from that place. Don't go there." And I didn't listen. I damn sure went there and hung out. Got to do a lot of hog hunting, but there was a lot of biker individuals there and some scary fuckers that I've met just going to that tattoo shop. I the feds watched the tattoo shop because there was some shit going on. They were sending weed and pins to the federal pen, um, to another tattoo artist that owned half the shop. It was pretty
So
crazy.
what was attractive about that lifestyle at first? Was it just all that?
Dude, the hustle, the money, the women, you know, it, it was great. Honestly, it was fun. The camaraderie of being, known as somebody's brother. You're really close. You They were there for you at certain times if you needed it, but you had to be there, to get their back if they needed it. So it's basically like working a chessboard, you know.
What was the name of the biker gang? Can you say it?
I'm not gonna say. I'm just gonna say, um, biker gang A, because they're pretty big, and I don't want to.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
yeah, I
want going
understand.
out on the street and be like, "Oh yeah, hey man, you said shit about this and this," and
Yeah,
I still
yeah.
talk to some of those guys. You know,
Well, can you at least tell us if is it a known biker gang? Like,
yeah,
is it
it's a
known out?
game. Yeah,
Okay,
very well known.
but yeah, you're probably gonna get into some stories and you don't want it to come back on you or whatever.
Yeah. Now I will tell you, I did get into one called the Restless Souls. I'll damn sure tell you that one. But there's no Pasco um, one anymore, but they're out of Osceola County and they're in Pennsylvania. They're decent size.
Was you were in like multiple biker gangs, or was that like your first one?
So that was my second one. I started um, probating for one, and then a friend of mine passed away. He got hit on his motorcycle. So I talked to the president of 1% Club and said, "Hey, I want to go over here," because that was his wishes. So he was like, "Well, you weren't military or firefighter." So the group that I was going to be in, they're like, if you're not this anyway, you might as well go over here. And that was the mistake I made, is going to from one to the other, because that other one really sucked. They were into heroin. I think month I was in there, I watched a guy blow his brains out.
Jesus.
Yeah,
So would you say that pretty much like a biker gang, you see it as a family and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's basically like it's a gang. It's a gang, right?
it's just a gang, and once you're out, you're out. I mean, unless you know that guy, they're not going to ever come, hang out with you. It's just like selling dope. Nobody's going to, everybody knows you for that. They don't know you for like you as crime, me as, Johnny Rock. They don't know you for that. They know you as what you did, you know,
So so it was about family, power, respect, or identity, or just all of it.
all of it.
So who recruited you or influenced you the most early on?
And in the biker life.
Yeah.
So in the biker life, I had a good friend of mine that brought me in. Um, and I'll tell you his biker name is Rage. He brought me into the life. Um, and it was fun. I mean, we drank together, we rode everywhere together. Um, I saw I saw some shit that, man, actually I want to tell you about that. Let me get into this story. So I went to this bar and it was out in Brandon. Man, there were, so say biker gang B was there and I was there alone and I was just a hangout at the time. My girlfriend worked the bar. Now I'm wearing, you know, a shirt that I shouldn't be wearing in this bar. And these guys are staring me down. And every time I'm looking at my wings and I look over and I'm like, man, I'm in trouble. I need to leave. So I look to the door. And lo and behold, the door is blocked by one. I got a guy at one door, a guy at the other door. So if you can hear me, I said I had a guy at a door and a guy at another door, and they were blocking both exits. And there was like 6 to 10 guys next to me. There's 6 to 10 guys sitting next to me, and they keep staring me down. And I'm like, man, I gotta find my way out. And I tell my girlfriend, I'm like, look, I'm out of here. She's like, nah, you're fine. You'll be okay. And I was like, look, you just don't know. I'm like, I think shit's gonna go down. So I looked to get to the exit, and there's a guy blocking one exit, and I was like, well, there's one more, and there's a guy at that exit. So my next move is I pick up my phone. There's barely any bars on my phone. So I'm fixing to lose my phone at that point. So I start texting an enforcer and I'm like, hey man, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck here. I think shit's about to go down. He's like, well, do you got an exit move? I said, I did, but now all the doors are blocked. They have me barricaded in. He's like, don't worry, we'll be there. We'll be there in a minute. Man, those minutes felt like hours. But as soon, lo and behold, everybody came through the doors. You know, president, enforcer, um, I just tons of guys I didn't even expect. But there was only one guy from my crew that came. Everybody else was from a 1%. Nobody came from my crew except for that one guy. And man, you wouldn't believe it that we were throwing down. Uh, I watched my buddy get thrown from outside the bar to inside the bar, and then they started hitting him with pool chairs, everything. It was crazy. He had a gash over his head from here to back here. It was like gushing with blood. My buddy pulled out his pistol, like almost fired it in the air, and realized that we're in a club. We can't do that. Um, And we were just sitting there surrounded, and there all of a sudden I didn't even know where all these guys came from, but there were 30 of these guys, and there's only 15 of us. Man, it was pretty nuts. We left there and
So
we all
basically,
went to the hospital.
so basically, everybody they came to rescue you, right?
Yeah, they
What
came
were
to
they just
rescue
trying
me.
to attack you just because you were, the gang you were in?
Yeah, really what it is I was a pawn in the chess match that they were playing. You know, that's all it was. I was a little guy that was there to start this, and they were looking for what was going to happen. So it's just a chess match. Put a player here, attack here.
What when did you realize it? That you were just a pawn.
When they told me I was just a pawn, so that's exactly what they said. So they pulled me. They pulled me, my president, um, the other guy that was in my club. They pulled us all into this little clubhouse, locked the doors, and it was just us, the president, the enforcer, and we thought we were goners. Totally thought we were goners. We're like, man, what's going to happen? Because it's just us in this club, you know. And
Yeah.
they just said, hey, man, you can't be doing shit like this. You can't go out. But on the other hand, we've been looking for these guys for forever. So you were just that pawn, that started it for us and found it. He goes, so thank you. But he goes, but next time try to find the exit. He goes, especially
Was that was that like a regular occurrence, like having fights and stuff like that?
man, I would probably throw down every weekend just about. I mean, if somebody said something wrong to one of my boys and they just looked at me wrong, I mean, I'd pull the knuckles out and knock them out. I mean, that's
You
that's
say
how.
you didn't you say you did some jail time, right? What how come you never got caught and did prison time, you think? Did you guys just you guys never got caught?
So, I wouldn't say I was smart because I damn sure wasn't smart about anything. I just never got caught. And, I'm glad to say that I'm still here. I mean, I did jail time for stupid shit like DUI, you know. The other stupid shit was, battery on a law enforcement officer, but 7 times, with and without violence. And I don't even know how that happens. How do you beat up 7 cops with and without violence?
Yeah. Did you fully believe in it at the time, or was it just about belonging?
It was just about belonging. Just about belonging.
Yeah. To everybody in the chat, we do these interviews to we're not trying to glorify anything. We talk about when we used to live crazy and stuff, so other people can learn from our mistakes. We're not the same people we were. That's why we're telling them about our past. So looking back, do you think it was real belief or influence or in the environment?
I think it was just, the environment, you get sucked into doing things and hey, it was fun at least, but you grow up and you get kids and that's it. I'm good with my life
Looking
now.
back, looking back,
Looking
do you think it? Huh?
all right, looking back, go ahead.
Looking back, do you think it was? Oh no, I already gave that question. Was there ever a moment where you questioned what you were involved in?
Oh, all the time. All the time I questioned it. I was like, what am I doing? I was like, this is outrageous. This is kind of stupid of me. I'm like, I'm better than that. I took I was in the martial arts for 10 years. You know, I was doing better with my life before I went into that life again. So I should have stuck with what I was doing instead of getting my ass pulled right back in, down the line.
Yeah, I forgot to ask you. When they when you became a part of the gang, you had to go through. Was there like a initiation?
Um, there's an initial. So you probate for a long time. Some probate for 6 months to a year. Some probate for 2 years. They like to get to know you. They want to make sure you know all your p's and q's. Um, it's just like being part of a family. I mean, you don't go out to Joe Smo and say, "Hey, come into my house and hang out." You don't know that guy. He could steal all your shit, rape your wife, kill your whole family. But
I guess you could. I mean, I guess. Did anybody ever try to leave? And if they did, what happened to them?
what do you mean? Like just leave the club?
Yeah.
Nothing ever happens to you when you leave the club. They let you leave fine. It's just if you're out bad or if you're out good. You know, if you're out good, I mean that you can walk down the street and still mingle with the crowd. But if you're out bad, I mean, you're still going to have some kind of target on your back.
So, how did that lifestyle affect how you viewed other people at that time?
Um, I can't. I mean, what do you mean by viewed other people? Like people that weren't in the club,
Well,
or
yeah, that or enemies or um other gangs, I guess, civilians, anybody.
well, I mean, I guess I viewed them as civilians, and if they weren't part of it, they weren't part of me.
Did you ever feel like things were spiraling out of control?
Oh, they did. I mean, that's like my entire life. I was spiraling out of control. I mean, I became a big drug dealer at one point. In 2003 or 2004, I started dealing drugs. And that's a big time of spiraling out of control is when you start, dealing and traveling, with all these products that you don't want to be traveling with all the time. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
So, what kind of crazy things did you see?
um, I mean, as far as crazy, the bar story hits the top of it, but I mean, I saw some. It's weird. I had everything put in my head of what I was going to tell you today, and I'm like, man,
It's all right. Was there
yeah.
a moment that still sticks with you
The moment is
that you
still
just think about all the time?
now. There's a moment that's really crazy. On my 33rd birthday, I threw this big, huge bash at the Springs Theater. And, I bought the kegs, I had 5 bands, and I had all the cocaine in the world that you could ever imagine. I also had a guy at the door and a cop there, you know, to watch everything. And the funny thing is, I get this guy come up and he's like, "Hey man, you need to go like right now." I'm like, "What do you mean I need to go right now?" He goes, "The cops are pulling up and they're looking for everybody. They're going to start, frisking people, and they also got cameras. So I have to go all the way to the roof to hide out. take 2 ounces of blow with me and stash it in places, and just sit there. And I'm like, what's going on? And somebody called me and said, they're filming freaking cops at my birthday party.
What the heck?
So I'm freaked out going, man, this is when I'm gonna get caught. But lo and behold, I didn't get caught. It was weird. So I went back down and partied, and I'm finally hanging out with my buddy, my cop buddy, and he makes the wrong gesture, I guess, and my other buddy decks him in the eye, breaks his eye socket, and he went down. And as while he's unconscious, I tell my buddy, I'm like, look, you understand that guy's a cop. And he's like, holy shit. And he took off. For years, my cop buddy, he's not a cop anymore. Um, they gave him his walking papers. He did too many drugs, I guess, at the time. But he he calls me every year. Who is that guy that punched me? Did you ever get his name? I was like, man, I have no clue who that guy was. I'm like, I have no clue. But I did. I knew the guy really, really well. Rest in peace. The guy passed away on, an overdose not too long, probably about a year ago. But,
Yeah, man.
but man,
The, those drugs, man, they're putting all kinds of stuff in them nowadays.
yeah, it's fentanyled up. I know a lot of people that overdosed on fentanyl. You know,
Yeah.
I
So
wish
you
they,
said they were filming cops though?
yeah, they were filming cops, and it
I
was my 33rd birthday, and this was in like, I want to say it was 2005 or 2006. I can't remember. I'm bad at math, but um, it was around that time.
I thought when they did like cops, I thought the camera crew rides with them and they just go to wherever the incident is.
Yeah, they had the
So
camera crew with them, and they were rolling up in my birthday party.
they must have got called out there then.
Yeah, I think they got called out there because there was I don't know how many people. There were like 300-400 people at this party, and I didn't know it. I didn't know half of them. They just came for
What was
the what?
my bad. What was the most violent environment you were ever in?
The most
That was probably
violent.
the bar fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, the bar fight was the most violent. You know, and yeah, that was probably the most chaotic thing I've ever done in my life, besides getting beat up by 7 cops, when I was in the 90s.
How'd that happen? Was it because the people you were riding with?
No, so in the 90s, cops weren't all that great. I mean, they're still. I mean, I live next to some cops now, and they're great, but TPD back in the day were awful. So we were hanging out at this bar. It was called Fatso's. It was a pool hall in Tampa. It's closed down now, but all of a sudden I'm sitting on the pool table, and I'm a twin, by the way. I have a twin brother, and all this commotion breaks out. And I'm like, what's going on? And my buddy, who's deaf, is running, and I can see him moving his lips, and I know he's pissed off. So I jump off the pool table and I stop him, and I'm trying to get what's going on in his head. And somebody grabs me by the back of the shoulder, reach over, grab their hand, turn around, and it's a cop. And I'm like, whoa, I'm sorry. And he's like, yeah, that's all right. So I figure I'm good. He's like, walk with me this way. I walk to the exit, and all of a sudden I get to the exit, and there's 6 cops standing there, and they tore my ass up. I mean, I didn't even know what I did. I'm like, man, this is awful. So they drug my head against the concrete outside, beat the shit out of me with batons. It was pretty bad. You know,
You think you were probably drunk or something? You don't think you did anything?
no, I wasn't even drunk. I mean, I was just hanging out. Yeah, I think I was 21 years old.
Now, when did you meet John Poet?
I met John, and I want to say it was 2004, maybe five ish. We met in Ybor City. We met at this place called the Fly Trap, and we we were both, we were both in there to do our dirty work. We're going in there to meet people to sell product, and we happen to know the same people. And it was kind of funny. I'm like, man, this is crazy. So we meet up, and you know, he's this crazy cat. I think he had a fur coat on, and at the time, I want to say he had a mohawk. He was pretty punk at the time, and we're just chit chatting, getting along, and we're like, man, you know what? We should try each other's shit. So we were walking down Ybor and going somewhere where we can, try each other's stuff. And everybody's yelling across the street, "Yo, Johnny Rock, what's going on?" And Poet's like, man, this guy's fucking famous without being famous. I was like, yeah, yeah, thanks, Poet. But I knew everybody, and apparently Poet did too. So, and we both had really good product at the time. So we started dealing almost together, and then all of a sudden the the thing is, my product became his product became my product. I was like, I was buying from him. Sometimes he needed something, I'd steroids or whatever, I'd find it for him. um we're just it was a good time, and I love the hustle, but you can find the hustle in other places. Like I own my own business now. So, you could go from the hustle of selling drugs. If you can do that, you could get your LLC and own your own business. That's another salesman job there.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. Keep. Thank you for the gift. Um, can you talk about the first time you got arrested, or was
That
that when the cops beat you up? Was that the first time?
that was not the first time I've been arrested. The first time I was arrested was when in high school. I was, I want to say, 15 years old, maybe 14. So my brother and I and a couple of our friends were at a McDonald's, and we were pretty hammered, and my brother, you know, skinhead up, Odin on both arms, no hair, and he's in. Oh, I think maybe you froze, but yeah, we were in a McDonald's, and make a long story short, my brother mooned everybody in the drive-through, and the cops came to throw us out. And my brother was trying to fight all these cops, and I was shoving him back in the car, and I was like, get your ass back in the car, you dumbass. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. It's good now.
Right.
Yeah. If somebody's upstairs messing with the Wi-Fi box or what. I don't know if it's me or it's you. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, we've had fiber optics here, so it shouldn't be too bad, but you never know.
Yeah, but you were talking about when you got locked up.
Yeah, I was arrested with my brother. We were we were like 15 years old. It's crazy. I mean, my brother was a big time neo-Nazi skinhead at the time. Um and he would always in this and in that, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. So these these three these three cops, that were trying to arrest us, my brother's trying to climb out the car to fight them. And he finally got out the car after me trying to push him in a bunch. And I'm not going to leave my brother behind, he's my twin brother. So here I am fighting, you know, a couple cops, and I get the biggest one. And they've doused us with mace, so we could barely see. And there's a line of people at McDonald's just watching us. And I'd slam this big ass cop on the ground, and it turned out that big ass cop was my good friend's dad.
that
So
that must have been good. Great. How was that conversation like when you had to talk to him?
yeah, I can't hear you again.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
usually fixes it.
yeah, that fixed it.
So when did you realize that wasn't life for you?
Man, well, honestly, it wasn't that long ago that I realized that this isn't the life for me. Um, I was probably 40, 44, 45, um, living in a trailer with the guy that's got me into the biker culture. Um, and he was never there. And I met a girl, and honestly, it was thanks to my buddy that got me in the culture. I met a girl, and she made me realize what a stupid life I was living. And we have we created a family, um, and a safe space to be in. Um, I was diagnosed with a rare disease called MMN, multifocal motor neuropathy, um, and became disabled. So I can't work anymore. So after that, I was like, man, maybe this is karma. Maybe karma got me because now I can't use my right hand, and that's the hand that I've always knocked people out with. Well, karma gets you in the end.
Yeah, it always does.
Yeah, it sure does, and that's what I tell all my doctors. I'm like, man, I guess karma got me because it gave me a stroke while I was snowboarding. It gave me this crazy disease that I gotta take medicine every week for. But I guess that's my penance. That's my prison sentence. There is getting this disease and everything else. So maybe I didn't get caught and go to prison, but I'm stuck with something
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
So what's something people don't understand?
What what people don't understand is, you know, it's not everything it's cracked up to be. It looks amazing from afar. I mean, people are there, you see people drinking and having fun, but behind the scenes, it's politics, politics. If you fuck up, you're you're either gone, you get a black eye. Um, and if you fuck up at home with your mom or dad, they ain't gonna black your eye. You may get grounded. You may get your iPad taken away or something, but you're not gonna get thrown into
Oh, maybe some families now.
yeah.
Now
I mean,
some
yeah,
people.
there's some. You're right, but
do, do you think people glamorize biker or gangs life today? Kind of like what you see
man,
on TV. You
I
know that one
think
TV show with the
son,
biker gang?
the Sons of Anarchy glamorize motorcycle clubs all throughout the country, and it is nothing like the Sons of Anarchy. Um, Now there's a new show, the Mayans. The Mayans is a little better because the guys that are in that, there's some real bikers in there, but it's still you're just making kids idolize bad shit. You know,
Yeah. What did they get wrong about it?
I mean, they're not. You don't see guys going out and blowing up clubhouses. You know, um, I mean, there was some stupid people that executed a guy in the middle of a street years back, but that's just because they wanted their names out there. And now they're in prison for life. But you don't
Yeah.
see any of that crazy shit. You don't see um the major gun running with the tractor trailers and all that. You don't see any of that. And the guys that do that kind of stuff, they do it on the low. They're not going to do it, with 10 to 6 bikers following somebody. They're going to do it on the low so nobody knows.
Yeah, there was a lot of killing on that show. They were like, like John Wick, man,
Yeah.
going and
Yep.
taking out. Does it really get like that?
No. Not at all. I mean, you'll carry a piece and you'll it's there for protection. Sometimes you'll see some shots get off. You'll see guys get shot and they'll either end up in jail or or they don't get caught. You never know. But it's not, you know, they made it seem like there is a lot of killing. Like every day you're going out and murdering somebody or beating the shit out of somebody. It's not like that. I mean, I fought a lot because I was just an idiot. You know,
Do,
I
do
like
you do you still ride the motorcycles?
no. Unfortunately, I can't even get on a motorcycle.
Oh, because your hand.
Yep. So yeah, I gave
That's
up my
like.
last
Do,
Harley about 2 years ago.
what would you say? Tell somebody that was like you, young, that's looking to want to join a biker gang or something like that. What would you tell them?
I would say, you know, if you really want to join, the biker community, I mean, it's a nice culture to be in, but I would probably stay away from it. Join an RC for a little bit, figure out, if you even want to be in that life. Cuz I mean, it can be fun, but the young dudes are the ones that are going to do a lot. The old guys, they're not going to do a lot anymore. It's the young guys.
Yeah,
So,
it's basically like being in a gang. The older folks, they tell the young people, they make them crash out, go on the missions and stuff.
yep.
Was there any extortion? Did you guys extort a lot of people?
Um I mean, I know some guys that went to prison for extortion, um, and they're out now. You know, it's a good thing, but
So
they
I was going
did.
to ask you
But
about that too. When you actually go to jail or prison and you're in a biker gang, do you guys stick together in there too, or is it like you
yeah,
guys
I
versus
couldn't tell I
other
because I
gangs?
never went to prison. Yeah, so
I mean, did you hear from other people that did go to prison? How is it like?
I mean,
Is it them versus other gangs?
I think mostly they just stayed. You know, some of them stayed together when they're in there, but not all of them. But I couldn't tell you. They don't like to talk too much about it. It's just
Yeah,
me though.
a lot of people don't like to talk about it.
Yeah,
I know there's like some things like that you can't say or whatever, because you don't want to come back on you.
right. I always tell people, the past is your past, leave it alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, if you're comfortable talking about your past,
Oh yeah.
to teach somebody about your mistakes, I
Yeah.
think it's a good way to teach somebody about your mistakes or whatever. But a lot of people aren't okay with talking about the past.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
this is the first time I've talked about my past, and I don't know, since the '90s. You know, I haven't told anybody since the '90s. I mean, the only person that really probably knew is Poet. Yeah.
really. Hey, did you ever like do any missions for Poet? Because I know he was on like
uh,
did he ever call you guys for backup?
he did. He called me for backup a couple times. I remember I went out and picked him up, and he's like he's like, hold up, let's stop off here, and I stop off at this place, and he brings back like this big bag, and he jumps in my truck. I'm like, yo, what the hell is this? And he unzips it, and there's like shotguns and all kinds of fucking weapons in this bag. I'm like, yo, what the fuck are we gonna do? He's like, well, grab one. I was like, okay. And then we went and picked up another buddy. Then all of a sudden he goes, yeah, we're gonna go to this house. This guy owes me money. I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's
You know,
roll.
okay, whatever. Let's just go.
Yeah. He goes, I said, I'll get your money back. I said, I did say now, I don't think we need these guns, but I mean, I didn't
Hey,
care
you never
back then.
know.
I didn't care
Hey,
back then. We rolled up at this house, and we rolled in, and I think we left the guns in the truck. Um because there wasn't many people at this house, and just our presence being there was, nerve-wracking to them enough. So, especially when they see two other guys, all tatted up, you know, and this skinny guy, Poet, and Poet had a mouth. He would damn sure tell you like it is, and he still does to the day. But that, yeah, is he a criminal? That's funny. But
yeah, I guess you said you used to be an ex criminal.
no, I was seeing the comment in there. It said, "Is he a criminal?" I was like, "That's funny. Is he a?"
Yeah. Well, yeah. Is there any other stories you wanted to tell us before?
I mean, no, but
I know you know the
I'm
connection and stuff was so bad at the beginning. I feel like
yeah,
we gotta like redo this. We gotta redo it.
yeah. Because I mean, I
But
had
you know, on
yeah, another
another
day
day
I could
that
tell
you're
you about
free.
my Miami trips. Picking up my stash and driving back and all that. Being the only white guy in the Haitian neighborhood.
That must have been fun.
Oh yeah.
Now
So
the biker gang that you were running with, they were neo Nazis, right?
I mean, they weren't so I wouldn't call them neo Nazis because you have the ex skinheads that join the culture as well. Like me, I was a trad skin, traditional skin. I didn't I didn't join, the um, National Alliance or the Hammer or anything like that because I didn't care for it all. But I mean, I did get shit because my brother was, and so I, walking the streets looking just like my brother, I'd get shit just because he was in an organization and I wasn't. You know,
Yeah, that's pretty dangerous. You know, if your brother is an organization and you're in one
yeah,
too, like if he goes out and does something, you know, retaliation, they could be thinking that's you.
yeah. I mean, and it's happened. It's definitely happened, and I'm like, man, this sucks. And trying to either talk your way out of it, or you fight your way out of it, or you run. One or the other. And
Yeah.
sometimes I just looked the other way and ran. I'm like, fuck this. You know, wasn't a good time or place
It's
to
not worth
get in
it,
a
right?
fight. Yeah, not worth it, especially when you're alone.
Oh, so I got a last question. what do you think saved you from the worst outcome? I think you pretty much answered that. So basically, you got out of the biker gang, you got married, and you're doing the family thing now. What
Oh
are you
yeah.
planning for the future?
For the future, I mean, I own a woodworking company. Me and my wife. It's called Beaver Boards. Um, now I just put out. Now my product is cutting boards, tables, yeah, anything with wood. Just about. I just got a different product to sell.
Yeah, it's a lot more safer too. That lifestyle
Yeah.
only leads to like two places. You think if you were
Yeah.
still in it, you think you would have ended up in prison, or you could have
It-
died?
I just turned 51 the other day, and I didn't think I'd make it to 50. I thought I would have been a goner at before I turned 50. But
Yeah,
here
living
I
that
am.
fast life, man.
Yep.
Especially dealing with like the drug trade. Back in the days, it wasn't so bad, but now, like, you can accidentally kill somebody because of all the
Yeah.
stuff that they're putting in it.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't know. I mean, if you don't know what you're getting, I mean, your clients don't know what you're getting either. So yeah, and you kill somebody, that's on you. You know.
Yeah, if somebody overdoses, they're looking for you.
Yeah. Exactly. And
And
it's funny talk when you say overdose. I had a girl come to my house in the middle of the night, and she's asking for more stuff, and I'm like, Girl, you don't look too good." And she's in the middle of about an overdose. And I put her in my truck and drove her home. And her boyfriend at the time, he asked me, "Did you give her any more?" I was like, "No, I'm not giving her any ever again." And she was sweating, had a towel on her face, and we thought, man, for sure she was going to die. I called her mom, and luckily they didn't tell her that, or tell the mom that she was getting the stuff for me. Um, she did go to the ER, checked out good. Um, they gave her something. I don't know what it was, if it was a Narcan or
it's probably
whatever back.
Narcan, yeah.
Yeah, but she's doing well today. She's married, has kids. So I'm glad she didn't kick the bucket, because that would have been on me, and I wouldn't be
Hey,
here today.
that's a lot better than some of these other people that's out there selling drugs. I remember
Right.
I was on my way to work one day, and I seen a dude. I guess he was selling this girl some drugs or whatever, and she must have overdosed right there in the middle of town. Everybody's out in the open. She was on the sidewalk and she overdoses. She falls down and like she ODing. He just he's looking around. He takes off running. That's he
Right.
didn't even help her. Yeah, you know. So some drug dealers they just try and get the hell out of there. At least you did try to like make sure she was all right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did have common sense, and I did a lot of people that I dealt with were either my friends, or just people I didn't know. And this girl was a good friend of mine, so I wasn't going to let her just, I wasn't going to drop her off in the middle of nowhere and be like, "Here you go," you know.
Yeah.
But she was crazy enough for coming to my neighborhood anyway. I lived in a Mexican neighborhood, and even the cops didn't come in there.
Hey, when people are that bad on them drugs, man, they'll do anything to get them, man. I'm telling you, anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, this interview, I'm gonna try to go back and try to salvage some of of it,
Right.
but it was really messing up at the beginning. I ain't gonna lie, it was messing up a lot.
Yeah, no kidding.
I might only
Yeah.
be able to salvage a little bit, but we need to redo one of these days.
Yeah, I'll write down some key points to talk about, um better, so we have
Yeah, you
something
just use
something
this
good
as
to talk
practice.
about.
This was just
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah, this is my you're the first interview I've ever done about Johnny Rock's lifestyle, and Poet talked me into it, and I was like, "You know what? Maybe I should tell the story. At least get these younger kids, you know, something not to look forward to in the game, if that's how I want to say it, or you know,
Yeah.
or something to look forward
Yeah.
to in the future because they know that they can do something better with their lives. You know,
Yeah, that's the whole point of this whole channel is just to, so we can tell our stories to encourage people not to make our same mistakes. And
yeah. Oh, thanks,
I
Tater.
appreciate and I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna try to salvage a little bit, but we're gonna redo this. So yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for coming on.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for everybody listening.
Yeah, we gotta
Yeah,
make sure the connection's good. I gotta figure. I don't know if it was me or I don't know what it was, man.
yeah.
I
I
don't
I have
know.
no clue, man. Yeah,
My mic was messing up pretty bad. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it.
yeah, man.
Hey guys, I got another interview later on. So if you guys wanna, check in later on, more than welcome. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it
Nice.
here.
Yeah,
Thanks for
yeah.
coming.
Text me, call me anytime, man. I'm
All
here.
right.
All right, man.